Hello, welcome to the Redmen TV. Shut up. It's the Uncensored match build-up show. Liverpool taking on Burnley at the weekend. I'm joined by Chris Pajak, John Machin, and myself. And Ste Horn, of course. Steve demanded to be introduced. I don't do demands.
It was a reminder more than a demand. Your subscribers will realise when they've watched that show that you didn't actually introduce me or your dad.
I know.
Just thought you know what? It was a bit of coaching. Fine, whatever. Deal with it. Trying to get rid of me as it is. I've been moved down the coaches. Like I said before, I'm the Jimmy Milner of the show. It started off for me where I wanted to be, and I'm getting shipped down. I'll be out there next.
You'll be in the office editing
I'll be on tea duty.
You'll be on the social media.
Is there any way we can just crop him out of this show?
I'm doing you a favour, being here.
Genuinely, Steve gives up his time and his lunch to come and film with us, and we'll be it now because we love you here.
I know.
You know we do.
I'm fond of you too.
You know what else we love though? Liverpool Football Club back in Premier League action. Let's quickly bring this back in. Yeah, because Burnley at the weekend.
Yeah.
Excited?
Not really, no.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's such a high after Arsenal, and then look, Burnley, they're going to cause us problems, I think. You know, when you start with 3 away games, whatever, they're a promoted side, they got beat at the weekend. It's how our players step up for this game, and that's been the thing with Liverpool over the years, isn't it? It's how we deal with these teams that have been promoted and stuff. And historically, I don't think we've done very well at it. You know, teams further down the table and stuff. I've seen over the last couple of years, there's been periods of time where we've done it really well, and I just want to see that from this side.
Yeah, I think this is. I mean, I think we'd all hope that one thing Jurgen Klopp should be very good at, and is very good at, is guarding against complacency to some extent. That being said, though, we still had those moments last season, and when we looked at these run of fixtures, we were all mentally tallying up what potential points we could have been getting out of it in September. And I think every one of us looked at Burnley and went, well, there's one that you have to go and win. Well, look, we went and got the points at Arsenal. What the worst thing you can do off the back of that is to go and undo the good work you did by winning at the Emirates, by going and losing at Turf Moor.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably the fact that Arsenal came back at us and the fact that we actually didn't play very well for the first 45 minutes will be, food for Klopp to make sure that the players who go out actually perform.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping they perform for more than like 20 minutes.
Yeah, it'd be nice. 25, 30.
Yeah, I mean, 6 or 7-0 then if you perform for that long. But I mean, I think you probably rotate a couple of players as well and bring in a few hungry people. So I think it should be okay.
Yeah, well, you were saying to the price was film, and you weren't overly impressed with what you've seen of Burnley in the opening day. All that being said, though, again, would you expect them to? Is that you can't say after one game, of course, but is that what we're looking at in terms of their level, or would you expect them to go and about no, we'll need to redouble our efforts here?
They lacked quality. I can tell you. I watched an hour of the extended highlights of this. That was for work. That was fun. Of the Swansea, they lacked quality. The big player really is Andy Gray, isn't he? And he had a few half chances where he looked okay, but he never really threatened Swansea too much. Yeah, they were just average. They were quite average, and their manager came out and said, we played okay, which I'm quite happy about, because if he thinks that was a good performance, their level mustn't be much higher than that. Having said that, it's much easier for their players and their crowd to be up for Liverpool at home than it is to Swansea at home.
No, first game back though, they should be up for it.
You say that, but they were very used to winning as well.
Yeah.
They hadn't lost in the league since Christmas, so maybe they were a bit complacent. Maybe they thought, we've been on such a good run, and Swansea are pretty poor, we might go and beat them. Where that won't be the case. It'd be more, I imagine, more fever pitch. I've been to Burnley a few times, and it's always quite an intense crowd there when they play us. But
I thought they'd win. I put money on them to win. So I'm really hoping we stuffed them this week.
Revenge.
They went great.
Should we have a trivia question?
Go ahead, mate.
Who was the last player to score for Burnley in a competitive game against Liverpool? We'll answer that at the end of the show. Something for you to have a little postulate on, a little think. Maybe if I'm not talking to you and you're not on camera, a little Google, who knows. But yeah, we'll come to that at the end. Let us know your thoughts or the answer in the comments below. Chris, you'll, of course, as always, be doing your Starting 11 show, which we look forward to with bated breath, as always.
When
was getting worried that people wanted Ste to do it.
Ste doesn't straighten his pictures up enough
I get that bit wrong, but I get the players on the board right.
more consistently.
So it's what you want. What do you want from your show? Do you want neat pictures or do you want the right team?
I think the last 3 competitive games I've got 1 player wrong in.
Well played, Chris. Well done. Better than me. I've never done a competitive game, so I'm 100%.
That's not true, though, is it? Steve? That's not true at all.
That's like me saying I've never ran in the 100 metres final, so technically I've never lost one. So Usain Bolt, bring it on.
So you're the Olympic champion now?
I mean, I've never lost to the Olympic final.
Yeah.
Justin Gatlin has.
Yeah.
Does that mean I'm faster than him? You tell me.
I bet Usain Bolt has lost a race at some point in his career. Steve's not done that.
Yeah.
So there you go. So again, obviously you will cover this in more depth detail on that show. But is there any, without necessarily going into specifics, is there anything about how we line up that you would look to change in terms of personnel or system?
I wouldn't be surprised if Origi comes into the side for this game, to be honest with you. I'd like to see him up top. I think back end of the season, Origi, I've said this all summer, I think Origi will be our number 1 striker, and I think it's a good game to introduce him into that role.
If that's the case, because we've said that Liverpool have got this 4-3-3 as an option now, which we start against Arsenal, that if Origi just start, is that entirely at the expense of Firmino? Does he, are they just alternating? Does Firmino
No,
go
I mean,
out
I think Klopp really likes Firmino. I think he likes his work rate, and I think he likes the way he brings other players into the side. So I wouldn't necessarily think it was Firmino. Not obviously Firmino. Everyone, I think, is under threat. Wijnaldum must be under threat. He had a very poor first half, I think, and Lallana is always going to be under threat simply because there's so many other good players around him. So no, it doesn't necessarily mean Firmino. It definitely doesn't mean Coutinho, I wouldn't have thought. But who knows? I mean, of course, there's Sturridge.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's fit.
I was about to come on to him.
Well,
Sturridge.
no surprise that Steve was about to bring up Daniel Sturridge as our best centre forward.
I'd just pick him. I think that this is the exact type of game where you play Daniel Sturridge, in that you don't need his pace or his power or anything like that. You just need to. I'm reminded of Bournemouth last year away.
Yeah.
He just scored 2 goals against because he's better than them.
Yeah.
But at the expense of who? If he's sticking with the 4-3-3, then it would be at the expense of Firmino. If we switch to the 4-2-3-1, I imagine it would be at the expense of Wijnaldum, with Firmino dropping deeper. Of course, the other thing is Emre Can's probably fit now, which means, is he going to play? And does that mean Jordan Henderson misses out? If I was picking the team, and I don't do my selection show, so I won't.
You can do if you want.
No, I'm fine. I'll do it now. I think he's going to pick the same team, by the way. I think he's going to stick to the same 11.
Really?
Yeah, but I would pick.
Even if Milner's fit.
Sorry, I think Milner will come in, and I'm telling complete lies because Emre Can's going to come in.
And all of a sudden, you open up the Pandora's box that is Chris's life.
I think
Player ratings and start 11, the 2 best video strands on the internet.
I think he will play Can, and I think he'll play Milner. But I would play 4-2-3-1. I will play Can and Henderson, Coutinho, Firmino, Mane, Sturridge. That's what I would do. Which it's harsh on Lallana and it's harsh a bit on Wijnaldum. But I think at Burnley, who you'd expect to maybe not come at us as much as Arsenal did or tried to, I think having Sturridge and Coutinho and Firmino linking around the box would provide us more options of scoring than the bombing on runs of Lallana and Wijnaldum, who are effectively going to possibly run into a crowded penalty area. But what's great is that I wouldn't be bothered either way.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic now, because there's 5, 6, 7 different combinations of the attacking 5 or 6 who you could pick in, and you think, yeah, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, no, I completely agree on that.
I can see him going to 4-3-3 when we play Tottenham, just like at Arsenal. I think games like Burnley, he'll mix it up a bit more, and
Yeah, it's a weird one because it depends what Burnley are going to do. Because what the biggest challenge for us this season is going to be the same challenge it was last season and the season before that, Chris, is that when teams decide that they're going to make their modus operandi in a game to not concede a goal, it doesn't matter how good you are, that's still a very difficult thing to break down. So it is, where do Liverpool put the firepower? Is there a case to go, well, you know what, actually, Divock Origi's fit. If Daniel Sturridge is fit, Daniel Sturridge is fit. Do we go for something a bit more radical or whatever?
We could do, right? I think the biggest difference between this season and the last two is Mane and his pace and what that does for breaking these type of teams down. And, you know, again, we've talked about it a lot during the summer. He offers us something that we haven't had for the last 2 years. And I would like to see something along the lines of Mane trying to get the ball into Divock Origi in the box and breaking them down that way.
Yeah.
You know, forcing their full back on the back foot all the time, cutting inside again like he did against Arsenal. That exciting sort of winger style player just changes everything.
I don't expect Burnley, though, to be defending all out, you know, because they're playing at home. They've lost their last home game. You know, they can't really afford to lose the game. But this, you know, two home games lost at the start of a promotion season. You know,
it's hard, isn't it?
I really think they will want to have a go at us.
They'll be wanting to pick most of their points up to survive. They'll have identified their home games, and the fact that this has been switched to give them 2 on the run, in a way, it's a positive for them. But like you say, if they lose it, you've got 17 home games left to get them points now.
Yeah,
it isn't great for them, but. If they play how they played at the weekend, then I'd be confident that we're too good for them.
Yeah.
If they went up another level, then they've got bits and bobs where you think they can possibly be dangerous.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, just going to step back a tad there, it will depend upon, like the Daniel Sturridge thing, you know, because what we've used this expression a few times because we've been filming the subscriber show, like the flat track bully thing. Daniel Sturridge is just goals. It's just pure goals, isn't he? You put him in teams like that and he should be able to just put them to the sword. But again, the question mark is how fit is he? But also like Divock Origi, for me, he's going to be our number 1 striker. By the end of this season, it will be undoubtedly our number 1 striker. And is this a great chance to get him in there and have him prove that he's better than these guys? You know, but ultimately, again, what you're saying, Steve, it's exciting because I don't know. And the reason I don't know is not because he's going to do something mad necessarily. It's because we've got loads of box players, which is absolutely fantastic as far as I'm concerned.
The only nailed on really is I think the back 4 is nailed on because I think Milner's going to play. I think Coutinho is absolutely nailed on and Mane is nailed on. And the rest, you can kind of... Yeah. No, you could. It wouldn't be a surprise if either of them played or didn't play. I don't think it would be.
I thought last year and even before that there were maybe 3 places which might change from game to game. I think we've probably got 5 places now which could change week in and week out.
Yeah, I think once he settles up, we don't know where a settled back 4 is going to be, but it's going to be some type. It's going to be Karius is probably going to be in goal or something. It's going to be Klein, whichever 2 centre backs when the fit he decides, and looks like Milner's left back. Coutinho's always going to play, I think, when fit. Mane looks like he's always going to play. And then the rest, you can kind of say, well, in this game, I think we need Lallana's work rate. Actually, no, in this game, I think it might be better to play Firmino deeper and put a striker on. It's positive in that. If we don't know, Burnley don't know.
Yeah.
And if Burnley don't know, this could be half of them to
I'd like to see, one thing I would like to see, whether it's this game or not, and I would suspect it probably would be more this game, is Henderson getting a chance to get forward a bit more. He just looked a much better player when he was freed from the defensive shackles.
I suppose if you play 4-2-3-1 with Chance sitting, then that does probably give him that license. Where against Arsenal, he was the Emre Can, wasn't he? Yeah. He was told.
Yeah. Right. I was looking around. Thanks for offering me a pen. I was trying to remember what we changed the name of the segment where we talked about a player that was going to stand out. We changed it. I changed it for last week for no reason other than I did. And I now can't remember the title of that segment. So we'll just go with pick a player that you think will be good.
Do you want to think about that a little bit more?
Well, I could, but, you know, it will just be 5 minutes of everyone sat here looking at me.
Starman shout out.
Starman, yeah. What did I call it? Let me know in the comments below. What the fuck did I call it? I was trying to find. I've got a pile of paper here.
What about
not one of them?
Mane, man of the match?
Oh, hang on. Hello. That's last week's agenda. Bitching. Key man prediction. It's a terrible name.
No, they forgot that shit. He's to change that, mate.
Who is your key man prediction, Steve, for the weekend?
I thought he was going to play.
Does it need a title, this segment? Because are we getting graphics in that says this is the key man prediction?
Yeah, did you not get that?
Oh, no. Yeah. Went in last week, Paul. Yeah, went in last week.
No, just more so, yeah. So I know what I'm asking people for as much as anything else.
Who's the star man?
Key man prediction, Steve.
Brandon, lad.
There's
a graphic.
Who is the
Remember.
who's the key man prediction? I won't say Mane. because I keep saying Mane, I will say...
I'm glad you didn't say Key Mane as well.
I'll go with Phil Coutinho.
Okay.
I'll go with Coutinho in that I think that they will be a bit more defensive than John said. I think they would take a point right now, for example.
Yeah.
So I think they'd be happy to, not so much park the bus, but I think they would be more cautious. When he's on, can change a game in 10 minutes. He did that against a much better team than Burnley. He can do it again. And we've said, again, we keep going on about numbers and stuff. He's already got 2. He's in really good form. He was about to score a hat-trick before his leg fell off. Yeah, I think they will be terrible. They won't have seen Phil Coutinho in a long... They've been in the Championship for a year.
The thing with Coutinho, and it's Firmino's actually exactly the same, is that it's great that we've got these guys who turn up in the big games, because I really like beating Arsenals and Uniteds and Chelseas and Cities and all that kind of stuff. But we need to have these guys start turning up against Burnleys.
That's how he would become one of the best players in the league.
Yeah.
Is to do it more consistently. So he flashes on the telly and stuff, which is fine. Last year, for example, Riyad Mahrez would have scored in these type of games, and he got voted the best player in the league, didn't he? Yeah. Do it in. That's what I'm saying. That's his next step in his progression, is to do it at Burnley away, do it at Watford away when we got hammered, that kind of thing. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think it'll be him. I think
That'll be for you.
Mane, pace all day long.
Yeah, he was just incredible.
I'm all in.
Arsenal.
I am
all in on Mane, of course.
Oh, you are as well, aren't you?
Oh, I'm massively in. I'm all in, mate, I'm with you.
All in on Mane.
I'm all in on Mane, but this time, just to be different, because what I've done now is you always ask the other guests first, so I always try and think of someone different. So what I've done this time is I normally pick the same as John, and I would have picked Mane if you'd not picked him. I've got a backup option, and I'm not filling for time while I think of that backup option right now. I have already decided on my backup option,
And
which
my
I have now
backup
just put up. It's Emre Can, and the reason that I think Emre Can is going to be the key man is because he's going to let all of those flair players ahead of him show what they can do, and I think he's going to do that better than Jordan Henderson did in the first half against Arsenal, and he should give us a better platform to go out and attack Burnley from, and a much more solid base.
Yeah, for me it's our centre forward, and that's either Divock Origi or Daniel Sturridge. And you're right, I don't disagree with your logic on that, Steve, is that Daniel Sturridge, if he's fully fit, should probably start that game, because he is our best centre forward. But whoever starts, this is the game where if you want to finish the season with 15 to 20 goals,
bang some in against Burnley.
Go and bang some in against
25, that's what you
25. Don't get me wrong, Dad, I'd take 30 as well while we're playing that game. But you know,
we're playing winning the league. You
yeah,
need strikers who score mid-20s.
But I want Firmino, Origi, and Sturridge to all score 20 goals this season, because I'm like that. But you know, it has.
When you add that to Mane's 30. There's your 90 already.
Exactly, yeah. So that for me,
we're fine.
You centre forward in these games. You know, we did. Arsenal was great. You were saying it, Chris, on the final word show for that. Goals from midfield is tremendous. Let's have some more goals from midfield. Great, but you can't win a league title unless you've got a 20 goal a season centre forward. And as I said, the best way to do
goals
that
from
is to start
midfield are
scoring
good
goals in games.
When they're added to the goals from the striker. If they're just replacing goals from the striker.
Hang on. If you're getting 4 goals from midfield every game, that's good enough.
Oh, I'm fine with that.
But if you're getting 4 goals a season from your forwards, then you need your midfield to be scoring a lot more than we've done in the past.
I think when we've always asked for more goals, that's been on top of what Dan Sturridge offers, isn't it? It's not because of.
But look, when you're a specialist goal scorer, it's your job to score those important goals, and that's the first goal, and often the winning goal. You know, they can be the same thing, and they can be a different thing. But you know, your midfielders are there. It's good when your midfielders score. You know, your midfielders should be scoring the goals that make it turn a 1-0 win into a 4-0 win. But your centre forward, your main man, is your guy who, when it's 0-0 and you're thinking, how are we going to... Oh, all right, he scored. Sound. You know what I mean? Or it's 1-1 and we're getting a bit edgy. He's the guy who crops up and scores that goal for you. And we need someone this season to be that guy for us. Whether it's Origi or Sturridge, I kind of don't care. I'd like it to be both. Because I'm fucking greedy.
Be nice, wouldn't it?
Okay, do you want to know the trivia? Just to remind you, I want you to name the last player to score for Burnley against Liverpool in a competitive fixture.
I'm guessing Danny Ings, but that's just a guess.
I was going to guess Ings as well.
It's the only player I can remember who's played for both recently.
Jimmy Traore.
What?
Was that the... Oh, right.
That was the last
Did they not score against us in the league?
They've not scored against us in,
Wow,
the
that's
last five. In the last 5 games, the last person to score a goal for Burnley against us was Jimmy Trower in 2005 in the FA Cup.
Good knowledge.
Well, LFChistory.net to be fair, but yeah, good.
Well then, lads.
Good searching.
Good searching. Yeah, I like that one.
I thought I had memories of Ings scoring against us. Obviously, I'm just wrong.
I was going with Ings or Heaton. They were my 2 guesses. Like,
He's a goalkeeper.
I know he's a goalkeeper. he's literally the only other Burnley player that I can remember. So it was him or him.
Yeah, good. And if nothing else, we'll get to see by the dodgy stream that we inevitably pick the game up on. John Flanagan sat in the crowd, waving and doing this, and probably being sad that he's not playing for us. Anyway, yeah, let us know your key man predictions and your score. But we haven't.
Rolls off the tongue,
score prediction.
Fucking right in the agenda, lad. Sort your shit out.
I know.
You know what I mean? You forget to introduce Ste on the first show.
That I did write an agenda for that. I just purposely didn't introduce Ste. It seems superfluous. I think Steve's charisma introduces him.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. What's the score prediction?
Is the title for this? Or is it just...
Key goals number selector.
I'm gonna go with 3-0 to Liverpool.
Okay, Dad.
3-0.
Cool.
Yeah. Chris and I always say the same.
Yeah. You having 3 as well?
No, I'll up the ante. 4-1.
Wow. Okay. Great.
That defence is rubbish again, isn't it?
Marino's go for the goal, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's not playing actually. It's Milner, isn't it?
2-1 to Liverpool. I would have had a 1-0, but
You have
I
to
look
build
like
up to
I look like a miserly twat, don't I? If I go from like 3-0 to
last week as well,
1-0. So yeah, let's go for that, because I do think this game will be weirdly tricky for us. But I think we'll do it. Like,
By my reckoning, we're on for about 156 goals on average.
I'm not sure there's enough points on your graph for a line of best fit on this just yet.
I might need to scale back my expectations.
Absolutely.
Having said that, in our last
50%, that'll do.
The last 3 games we've played in, someone scored 4. One of them was mine, but logic says that'll continue.
Absolutely. Of course it will.
So are you changing your score prediction?
I'll stay as 4-1 just cause.
Thoughts on anything we've discussed in the comments below. If you can think of a better way for us to introduce Ste.
Don't. On the last the tweet I got off the last video. Tell Ste he's a twat, and then I mean,
good emails and all.
No, but I forgot that you'd said that, and then my phone's had blown up. I'm thinking, what's this? What have I done? I thought I'd done like a dodgy, and then I realised, someone added you in it, and then I realised, Machen.
There we go.
So don't introduce Ste.
Just in the comments below, think of nice ways to introduce Ste that really sells his talents in the comments. If you'd be so kind, give this video a thumbs up as well.
My new role on this channel is like the butt of all jokes. Is
click the
subscribe button.
And we'll see you post match. Cheers.